What's up, everybody? Welcome to the In Off the Bench podcast. It is college baseball today, the first ever episode. Look, I've been getting messages. The people want stats, they want scores, they want highlights, they want analysis on college baseball. And In Off the Bench wants to be a part of giving the people what they want. They want to continue to grow the game. So let's talk about the midweek action, midweek madness. Everybody loves it. Get you ready for the weekend. We're going to start with the number one team in the country, my LSU Tigers. So just like a typical tiger, they like to play with their food and then devour. I don't like the cardiac cat action we have had early this season, but they say it makes you battle tested. But let's check out what happened down in Baton Rouge with North Dakota State.
Right time, right spot, right time.
This one is hit on a line out to right center field. It will be down for a hit. At least one run will score. Here comes the second run. Another 2 RBI single for Stephen Milam.
0-2 pitch. Grounded to third. Reeves straightens up, throws it over to first base, and the Tigers win it. It was not.
So on Tuesday, take the game 11-9. Not the prettiest game at all, but we took care of business, got the win ultimately. You see Kason Evans on the bump, closed the thing out. He has became a reliable guy out of the pen. Freshman, you love it. He is actually the next LSU baseball guest we will have on In Off the Bench. I put the Monster Milam clip because the Jared Jones bombs we expect. I think Monster Milam, just like last year, this year he's the X factor. We know what we're going to get from Jones, Dickinson, even Curriel as a freshman. We know he's a lockup at the top. But what Monster does in the heart of the order is key. He had 5 RBIs between the 2 games. Want to see him stay hot. Everybody's talking about this lineup. It's probably going to shuffle again one more time this weekend before Jay tunes up for SEC play. Just the depth of LSU. It's a good problem to have, specifically out in the outfield, but look for the consistency with Curriel, Jones, Dickinson, and Monster Milam, in that front half to continue to get things done. But they took care of business in the midweek, which takes us out to Knoxville, the number 2 team, arguably the number 1, in my opinion right now. Well-oiled machine, just absolutely terrorizing the ball. You can talk about a small ballpark, but they went and did it in Houston last week. But in the midweek, they are back at Lindsey Nelson, and that is one of the reasons why I predicted before the season for Andrew Fisher to hit the most home runs in college baseball, said 30 plus. And, he had 20 last year for Ole Miss in a lineup where he wasn't protected in a bigger ballpark. And so let's check out what happened in the midweek.
0-1 lifted high in the air, deep to right field. And Andrew Fisher hits it over his picture on the scoreboard.
3 grand slams in a game in an absolute rout. Tennessee just doing what they do, midweek, weekend, it doesn't matter. Tony V has these guys. I mean, when you talk about freshmen like Levi Clark in the heart of the order, just absolutely demolishing baseball. Big kid. He's DH in most of the time, sometimes first. So as far as the freshman of the year race in the SEC, Derek Curriel's ability to cover 3/4 of the earth makes me believe that, he's the clear front runner right now as we're going to go into SEC play. But man, for Levi Clark to be shown out like that, Tennessee has amazing depth as well. So LSU, Tennessee, clear number 1, number 2, take care of business in the midweek. Arkansas, man, a year after the year, they're always worried about, can we have someone we can rely on in the batting order? And the Aloy brothers are absolutely mashing. They're terrorizing pitchers. Louisiana Monroe took it on the chin from Arkansas, which is good because Arkansas has played way too many close games in the last couple of weeks. So to go out there and absolutely, demolish the opponent the way they did, good for Arkansas to, get some momentum going on the weekend. We'll see if that pitching can find its way back. It's not been as impressive as I expected it to be. Georgia played way too many close games, did again in the midweeks. They ultimately won and took care of High Point and Georgia State, but allowing a lot of runs. I think the key thing I take from this is we had Trey Phelps as a Golden Spikes finalist, for the end of the season as a prediction. And he started off very, very, very slow. He has gotten red hot. These midweek games have helped tune him up. He's had 7, 8 hits, I believe, and definitely multiple home runs, lots of RBI. So Trey Phelps getting hot is key for this Georgia team. He's the leader now with Charlie Condon, in the MILB. Florida State and UNC, when we talk about the ACC, like a lot of talent, a lot of depth, but these 2 at the top, You know, we know what Florida State has on the weekend with their pitching staff, but they keep taking care of business in the midweek games. And then North Carolina takes care of Coastal Carolina, which we talk about in the SEC. It just means more. But when it comes to midweek games, it just means more if you're in the state of North Carolina. We talk to all these guys. These midweek matchups are where it's at. If I lived in North Carolina, I would be at every single one of these games. Coastal Carolina wants to win a game like this for their resume builder, taking out an ACC team. So big win for North Carolina, preventing Coastal Carolina from getting those bragging rights. Probably my favorite thing that happens yearly in a midweek has got to be when Florida doesn't take care of business. For whatever reason, midweeks, they don't like to show up. We love to hate Florida. We love when they lose. And so when you get meleeed by UCF, we enjoy it. And just remember, a wise man in Omaha once said,
Florida sucks.
They suck, and they always will. I apologize, Colby Shelton. Anyway, moving on. If there's a team I got wrong before the season, it's got to be Alabama. Did not predict big things. Had Garrett Wood tell me they were going to be the real deal. Obviously, you know, being in the SEC, we still got to see what they do when they come to conference play. But a lot of out-of-conference wins against good teams, just taking care of business, 14-0. But the story has got to be LeBron. Not LeBron James, but Justin LeBron. 364, 9 home runs, 34 RBIs. 34 RBIs already. This is crazy. This kid is definitely the front runner right now for Golden Spikes. He is absolutely killing it. And with a name like LeBron and the fact that I don't like the other one, I'm all about this kid. I'm sold on Alabama right now. Can't wait to see them come SEC play. But Alabama, 14-0, taking care of Troy in a midweek, which is a big win. Troy's a top 25 team. They were looking to build on their resume as well. So, you know, good for them. DBU last week took a loss to LSU in the midweek. This week had an opportunity to bounce back, and did they ever? They take Oklahoma to the woodshed, 11-0. 11-0. When we talk about resume builders, in the committee looks at this down the line, it's not even going to be just that they beat a top 25 team in Oklahoma if they stay up there, because I believe they will because of their weekend rotation. But you didn't just beat them, you beat them 11-0. So big win for DBU, who's a top 25 team, who I believe is a legit team. So good for them. You know, IOTB guest Hayden Federico is coming up. There's nothing more than when we got guys that are coming on and we have something to talk about. So midweek game, you got to take care of business. Check this out.
Swings at the first pitch, and it gets through. Randall comes home. Ball game, and
I mean, walk-offs midweek, you know, games can be tough. You know, Ole Miss is definitely a better team than Murray State, but you get it done. A dub is a dub. Hayden Federico, the freshman, coming up clutch. You love to see it, giving us something to talk about when he comes up. But I had Ole Miss ranked in the top 25 before the season for a reason. They've continued to just win. Really sparked off that run rule of Clemson after the loss to Texas, which is their only loss. I'm a true believer. I will be there tomorrow night in the Sling, which I'm supposed to be in right now, to watch Hunter Elliott deal, the veteran. Man, I'm a believer in what Ole Miss has going on. Let's see. We do not have video evidence of what happened between Mississippi State and Southern Miss. It has been submitted to the authorities. It was an absolute massacre. State win over Southern Miss, that big win they needed to bounce back off a tough weekend in Houston. Texas A&M splits the midweek, still struggling a little bit. You know, Kent has really got the bat rolling. I really like Wyatt Hensler. I don't know why Laviolette is still struggling the way he is. Hayden Schott's been kind of on and off, but I do believe in this team at the end of the day. I believe in their pitching, and I believe that this lineup will find themselves, and I do believe they'll find themselves on track to Omaha. But you did lose the best leadoff hitter in the country in Gavin Grahovac, and that does hurt. But I do have a positive note. He messaged me this morning. Surgery went well, and so he's going to be recovering, rehab. Might have to do the same one since we got shoulder surgery, but, you know, next year he's going to be a guy who's going to be a top 5 pick, in my opinion. So shout out to the surgeons for taking care of Gavin Grahovac. You know, as far as this weekend, we don't have much competitive action. You know, everybody's just going to get tuned up for the conference play, but we do have Coastal Carolina at ECU. We were talking about the resume builders. This is definitely one. Give me Coastal Carolina. UCLA at Maryland. Normally that would not be one that I would highlight, but both teams have looked really good, had some good victories. I like Maryland at home. Georgia Tech at Virginia Tech. very good to start the season. I'm a big fan of Virginia Tech. We've had multiple guys on the show from the team. Trayson Hughes is back healthy. I look for them to win in Blacksburg. Notre Dame at Wake Forest. I was at this series a couple years ago at the couch. Good way for them to start again. Hopefully Wake Forest takes care of business just the way they did before. I'm a real believer in this team. I really like Ethan Conrad and Merrick Houston in that lineup. Got a lot of savvy vets in that lineup as well. And then big fan of Matthew Dallas on the bump. So I think Wake Forest takes care of business this weekend. But, the player of the week for me, got to go back. Shout out Justin LeBron.
Slider is swung on and skied high, deep in the air to left field. Lewis moving back to the track, to the wall, it's gone. Ain't it fun to watch Justin LeBron?
I just wanted to put it back out there. 9 home runs, 34 RBIs. That's absolutely insane. But like I said, I will be in Oxford this week. If you're out there, come say what's up. I will continue to do these nightly after the games as requested, hoping that people will tune in and watch. I'm watching games all the time. I'm interviewing players every day, just continuing to try to grow the game. There's a reason I feel confident about the things that I say. I'm doing my research. I'm watching the games. And so I want to put this out there for the people. We actually have Bear Harrison from Texas A&M on tonight from a team that is struggling, but I'm going to talk to him about it. And shout out Colton Coates from Louisiana Tech we had on Monday. Told the kid he needed to hit a home run over the train tracks at the Love Shack. He said, I wish. Well, he did. And, just got to believe, kid. Young kid with a lot of talent, local from here in North Mississippi. But that's it for today. Remember, strong bodies, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. I am